Hello sweet friends, this is Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. Today I wanted to share with you some of the items that I have had in my Etsy shop since before the new year, and I've just not done a video to show you what they actually are. And I have tons of little golden book stuff in my shop. What I've done is gone through my stash of little golden books. I had at one time I had thousands of little golden books, but I've actually gotten rid of a lot. I've put a lot in the free little libraries around Kansas City. One time my husband and I, one summer, we drove around and we would put books, and a lot of them, actually they were all little golden books that we put in the free little libraries. I've donated a lot to thrift stores, and I've donated a lot to like Goodwill and Salvation Army. And then I've also put a whole bunch in my shop, and I have probably hundreds more left that I want to put in my shop because they're just sitting in my house and they're not doing anything. And that kind of goes against the my whole philosophy, my whole premise of the world has enough stuff, let's use what we have. These are little golden book paper packs, and what it is I took apart some little golden books. So these guys were falling apart, and I'd had them for a while, and I had taken them apart. The spines were the covers were off, the spines were not intact, and even this one, which was a brand new one. So what I did was they sat for a while and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with them. And so what I decided to do, and I'll go ahead and open one up, is make these page packs. If you saw in my last video, I actually did a video of my little journal, and I did a layout in there, and in my little journal I used, as my embellishment, I used 2 pages from little golden books. And so that was my inspiration. After I made that journal spread, I was like, oh, I got the perfect idea of what to do with these books that were already deconstructed and had pages. So the first thing is they've got a sash, and this is a vintage sheet. And then these are just some die cuts that I made with my die cut machine that is slowly dying. I don't know how many more die cuts I'm going to be able to make out of cardboard. And they're these tag shapes, and I think it's called, the die is actually called Ancient Document. And then I poked holes and I tied those on. So then, let me see if I can do this without taking those tags off. Oh, I can. Okay, good. So then I just tied this up, and so what I did was I had 7 books, and so the way I did this was I took all of the pages from the books and I just divvied them out. So you have 1 or 2 pages from each of the books. So every kit has an assortment of pages. So there's pages from the Snoopy book. There's pages from some extra, I put extra pages in. I know the listing in Etsy says you get 15 pages, but you actually are getting like 20 or 22 pages. Pokey Little Puppy. This one is called We Love Grandpa. This one was We Help Daddy. Little Rabbit and His Friends. The Dinosaur Book. Heidi. And then, like I said, you're going to get some extra book pages. So the covers, now you get to choose this in the listing. So what I did with the covers was I spliced the covers so that they're not so thick and bulky, and I put some old coloring book paper on the back. And the reason why I used this particular coloring book paper is because it was Sesame Street theme, which just kind of went along with golden books. But this paper was it was fragile enough that it wouldn't be able to be, you know, on its own. But when you back it, when you glue it to something else, and I stitched it, it makes it much stronger and sturdier. And this would make a great journaling background, or you could actually color it in. And so I did that to both of these covers. So the way you would get these is you would order the title of the book cover that you want, but like I said, in the kit you get an assortment of all the pages, and then I threw in a lot of extras. So there's that listing, and I think I've listed it as Children's Book Pages Junk Journal Kit. Another item in my shop that has to do with golden books is this little mini junk journal kit, and I am using the first little golden books. So these are the golden books that are actually smaller. So here's a regular sized one, and then the first little golden books are smaller. I love these. I adore these because their pages are so small and easy to use. They don't like overtake the page, and it just shrinks everything down. And I don't know, something about when things are cuter, when things are smaller, they always look cuter to me. So in this one, you will choose what kind of first little golden book you want. And with my books, you can read, like I have a scale in there that tells you how I grade my books, like, you know, what I consider good condition and super condition and collector's condition. So with these guys, they are a clean book. There may be a stray mark here or there, and it may have the person's name written in, but there's not going to be torn pages. There's not going to be you know, really damaging stains. It would be able to be read if you didn't want to cut it up. So along with the book, I also have this security envelope that I just had some fun doing just some stamping on. And my favorite stamp, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this little airplane stamp, oh my gosh, I found it in the dollar section a while ago at one of the craft stores. And I was like, what the heck would I ever use this airplane for? But it just worked perfectly. And all of these stamps, none of them are little golden book stamps, but when you put them all together and you put them with this book, it looks like they were made to go together. So in this envelope, I've loaded it with some, like I said, it's a mini junk journal kit. And so in the kit, you're gonna get an old, this is a super old flash card. I've held onto these forever because I never knew what to do with them. And so now I just decided I need to get them out there. People need to be able to enjoy these. They need to be doing something other than sitting in my room. So a vintage flash card, one of my little golden book Go Fish card game. I think I told you guys I went to this estate sale I don't know, 4 weeks ago. I think it was over Christmas break, and it was a teacher, and I had never seen these in my life, but she had these sets of little golden book playing cards. Never seen them in my life. My whole world has changed now that I've found these. So you'll get one of these cards, and it's from the Go Fish game. Then there's an Old Maid card, and there is some of my Grandma Neva. This is her felt. So if you've listened to my videos before, I inherited a whole bunch of felt from my grandma. And then I just took some golden book pages and went to my die cut machine and cut out flowers and circles and stars. And so I added those too. So all of this goes into the envelope, and this would be an assortment, and then you would choose what book you would want. Another junk journal kit that I have, which is a little bit bigger, is these books right here. These are Telltale books. These are by Whitman, and these are super, super sweet. Again, I love the small size. It reminds me of that first little golden book size, and the illustrations and the stories are just amazing. Now with these guys, most of the time they are falling apart on the spine, and these guys are not like golden books, because golden books, they were stapled within their golden spine. So you can't see this, but golden books are actually stapled, and they're stapled this way, and then they put the gold spine over it. For these guys, they were actually just stapled in, so you can find, if you search towards the middle, you can find where they're stapled in, and they're not going to hold very well because it's just stapled in with paper right here. So there might be a couple of these where the actual text block has come away from the book covers, but if you're buying this, chances are you're not buying this to read. You're buying this to use in your crafts. So you're going to end up and pull it apart anyway. And again, I try to make sure they're clean. There may be a stray mark every once in a while or a name. And like I said, the text block will be intact, but it might have come away from the cover. So super, super sweet book. There are lots of titles that I have, and there are tons tons more that I have. And so I'm just going to keep relisting these as they sell. I'm just going to add more and more titles. Then inside the package along with the book, you're going to get a page protector full of some ephemera. And so let me really quick tell you about the page protectors. If you watched one of my videos recently, I talked to you about plastics. And with me being a school teacher, I'm constantly digging stuff out of the trash because I love my kiddos, but they throw things away all the time that don't need to be thrown away. So for the last, oh my gosh, 10 years, I've been on the last day of school digging through the trash or the recycling bin, or I just catch the kids before they throw them away. But they'll clean out their binders and they'll take these plastic page protectors and they'll throw them in the trash because in their minds, they're done with them. They're not going to reuse them the next year. So I pull them out because they're perfectly good to use. I have thousands of page protectors. And if anybody at school needs page protectors, they come to me because they know I have a ton of page protectors. But I'm also thinking about, okay, I'll never be able to use these all at school. So what I've been doing is bringing them and using them as my packaging. So sometimes I'll cut these off and I'll make an envelope, such as with my wrapping paper packs. I just took page protectors and I cut them off and then I sew through them and they become little pockets. With this one, I didn't do any sewing. I left it just like it was because I felt like if you have a 3-ring binder, you might be able to stick this in your 3-ring binder and it might be a great way for you to hold your ephemera. So if you order something from me and you get it in a page protector, know that that page protector has already had a life. It's been recovered, it's been used, and hopefully you can find a new purpose for it also. Okay, so in this ephemera pack, I just loaded it up with cards, and you can see there's pictures and details on the listing in Etsy. Cards and game cards, a piece of some paper that came from an order book from my I think this was my great grandfather's business in Fredonia, New York, Saragusa Brothers Cement Blocks. And when my grandfather passed, I inherited a ton of these little books. And so I included one of those little order slips in there, some wallpaper, and then book pages, dictionary pages, stationery, recipe pages, pages from magazines, and tablet paper. So again, if you want to see the full listing, check it out on Etsy, and I have pictures and details. So you've probably seen these a lot on Instagram because I have been going nuts with these. So this is going back to those playing cards. Let me make sure I'm in focus here. This is going back to those playing cards that I got. I just needed to figure out a way to use them and what would be the best way to use them. And so I kind of made up my mind that I was going to have to alter them, because otherwise, in my mind, I would think they were too precious to use. And so I altered them. And so here's how I did it. If you order one of these playing card packs from me, you're going to get this little stationery envelope type of thing here. So I just took 2 security envelopes and I sewed them together, and it kind of made this little package. And then I put some trim on it. I stamped whatever word you're choosing to purchase, because these were ABC flashcards, and so they all spelt out a word. And so you will get a set of 4, and I've listed all of the different options. So what these are these ABC little golden book cards. And on the front, they will have, like, if you put them together, it makes the word, and then it'll have some illustration from the books. And then on the back, it'll say Little Golden Book. So what I did was I altered these, and here's how I altered them. One has a vellum pocket from some thrifted vellum that is like nursery rhymes. I have a whole stack of it, and so I'm constantly using it. So I made a little pocket, and then some really old teeny tiny notebook paper that just slips in here. So that's one of them. The other one, I just stuck a hole and then added some vintage fabric as a tag. This one will have a ticket and some of my recycled paper from my shipping labels, and you'll hear me talk about my shipping labels here in just a few minutes. So this is paper from that, and I sewed it on. And then the last card will just have a piece of fabric that I've sewn to turn it into any kind of card or tag that you want. And so these two will tuck in here, and these two will tuck in here. And I've added a couple little extras in the envelope. I'll just let you see whenever you open up your envelope. So the envelope you could actually use to keep these in, or you could actually put this in your journal. I've also been putting a lot of my golden books in Etsy. I've got ones where I've grouped them together, so I've bundled them up, and I tried to do like themes that I thought would go together. So I know this one is like a farm animal theme, and so this is animals on the farm, and then I think the one underneath it, let me see here if I can look at it without having to untie it. The one underneath it is the egg book, and so those are sold like as in a bundle. Then I've got ones where I've got a $4 ones, $5 ones, and then I have, these are my old ones. So this is a selection of really old little golden books. And the way you know they're really old is you can look at the spine. So the spine will be either this brownish gold paper, or it will be the gold foil, but it will just have this design, which is much different than the newer designs. So you can see this is a newer design. The other way you'll know that it is an old golden book is by the back. So even though this one has a newer spine, if you look at the back, this is an older spine. So, or an older back, sorry. So the backs are all older backs. And so these are what I'm calling my old little golden books. Now sometimes with old little golden books, they are more than 12 pages. So for example, I can tell, where was the Bambi one? I can tell this is more than 12 pages. I can just feel it. Because when they first started making golden books, they actually made them with more than 12 pages. And the paper is super thick. It's much different paper than the new golden books. So newer golden books are going to have thinner paper. The old golden books have a thicker paper. And the way they printed them when they first started making them is they would do some black and whites, and then they would do some colors. So like, I know this is an old one, and then I've showed you my trick before. If you want to see what edition it is, especially on the older ones, then you're going to look in the back, and sometimes it's actually in the spine, but you'll see the letter, and that will tell you what edition it is. So this is a letter H edition, and it is copyright 1948. So in 1948 they started these, and this was the H edition, if that makes any sense. I would not say these are collectors. I mean, they're in good shape, and if there's any marks or anything in them, I tried to put that in the listing. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. But you know, they're old books that just need a new home. Maybe you want to add them to your collection. I don't know that they're worth any money, but maybe you just want to add them to your collection. Maybe you have a golden book collection, and you were like me when I started to collect. I just wanted different titles. I didn't really care what their condition was. I just wanted all the titles. Maybe you want some for inspiration. So maybe you don't want to cut them up, but you just want to look at their pictures and stories and stuff for inspiration. Maybe you do want to take them and cut them up, and there would be nothing wrong with that, because like I said, these were all destined for the rubbish, recycling, thrift stores, garage sales. They're not in perfect condition. None of these are in perfect collector's condition. If I have any A's, let's see if this one's an A. This one's a G, but it's in pretty good shape. I think there might be a couple A's in here, A editions, which means it's a first edition, but they just weren't worth any money because they're just not in that good a shape. Again, I'm not a little golden book collector for the money. I'm a little golden book collector because I just love them. So if you're a collector, then you probably want to find someone that has golden books that are in better condition. So anyway, I have a lot of little golden books, and like I said, I have hundreds more that I'm going to be listing throughout the year because they're sitting here. I love them and I want other people to love them too. And I'm also going to use some in journals. So I'm not getting rid of all my stash. I have a whole bunch that I've actually saved, and ones that I'm going to pass on to my children, and then ones that I want to turn into journals. The next thing is something that I haven't actually listed in my shop yet, but I'm really excited about it. So when I was going through my little golden book stuff, I found these. Somewhere along the lines, I collected these tins, and I don't really know where I got them, but I collected them, and they've been sitting in this big chest for probably 20 years now, and they're not doing anything, and that is wrong. They need to be doing something. So I took these and I turned them into kits, and let me show you. I'll show you one of them. So this is the Shy Little Kitten. Inside it, I took the teeny tiny golden books. So there are the golden books called the little golden books. This is a little golden book. They are teeny tiny. At one time, I collected these, and this would have been, oh my gosh, 19 years ago, because I remember my youngest was a baby when I was collecting these, and we would go all over the place looking for them. These are usually not in very good shape because they were so little. Kids would bite on them and they'd be torn and stuff like that. But I do have a good little collection of them, and I am going to start putting some of these in my shop. I'm trying to figure out how I want to market these. Like, do I want to make a kit or something like that? But anyway, so I had some ones that were kind of torn up. And so what I did was I took their pages and I just made like a little set, and I think there are 18 different pages in here, and so they're all from different books. You're gonna get a whole bunch of different book pages in here, but there's like 18, and then I tied it. I took the little golden books, nothing went to waste here. I took the little golden books that they came from, and anything I could salvage, I put in this little kit. So like, this is the gold spine, this is a piece of one of the other gold spines, and this is just a little piece of the end paper. I took the covers. Oh, here's another piece of spine. I took the covers and I turned them into little tags. And so they had a lot of markings and stuff on them. They were kind of ripped. And so what I did was I just embellished them with stickers, and then I put a little tie so they'd make a cute little tag in a journal. So there's 2 front covers, and then there will be 2 back covers. And then the last thing is I took this super old envelope and I did some stamping on it. And then inside here, I took, because my theme here was little, inside here I put some little golden book pages, and I had done some die cuts. So there's a stamp, there's a heart, I think there's butterflies. And then I put some little bitty remnants of wrapping paper. So you'll get these little teeny tiny pieces of wrapping paper. So my thinking on this was little, like, because it's the little book and it's the little die cuts, and so the little envelope, and I don't know, I was just thinking what a sweet little ephemera pack this could be. And so it would come in this tin. So there's the pieces, there's the paper pack, and there's the envelope, and it'll come in the tin. And then, hang on. All right, so this is a package that the little golden books were in. So I had like 4 of these, and it had a book here and a book here, and then it had this plastic that went over it. And I suppose if you were a person that wanted to collect these for the money, you should leave them in the package. I didn't want to leave them in the package because the package were, you know, they weren't in perfect condition, and I just what's the point in having it behind the package? To me, that's just my thoughts. So I took them apart, but I couldn't bear to throw this away. I don't know why, but I couldn't bear to throw this away. And so they've been sitting, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with them. And here's what I came up with. I made a journal. I made a miniature journal. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. This is the front. This is the spine. This is the back. This is the side. It's got a vintage sheet tie. It opens up, and it's got a little pocket right here. And then in here are 2 signatures, and I used some scraps of scrapbook paper, but I used, okay, are you ready for this? Whenever I print off my shipping labels, I always have excess paper, and I just can't bear to throw that paper away because it's just perfectly good white paper. So I've saved it and saved it. And so I went to that stash that I've had, and I made the pages out of this from that paper. So it's getting recycled. And then I, like I said, used some old scrap paper that I had laying around, some scraps. I used an address book to make a pocket, and then I stuck a little tag in there. So there's 1 signature. I did a little bit of sewing, so you'll see just a little bit, but because this was such a teeny tiny one, I didn't want to overload it with sewing. And so yeah, this makes a cute little journal. There's another little pocket with a tag. And then here's the back right here, which is this right here, if you guys can see that. So I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so cute. You could like throw this in your purse or in your backpack. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Or you could even take the stuff out of here and then put the journal in here, and it would fit. It won't fit stuff and journal. I've already tried it. And so the way it'll come to you is this will go here, and then I'll have the journal separate. So I have 3 of these types of tins, and they're all the same. And then this one was like a little suitcase tin. And so it's got the exact same components as these guys. It's just in a smaller tin. So it's got everything else in here is the same. So yeah, cute, 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 cute. And it'll go to a new home, and someone will cherish it. So for each one of these, you'll get a journal and one of the tins with the ephemera. And I have, like I said, I have not listed this yet. I'm hoping to get these listed. What's today, Saturday? I'm hoping to get these listed tomorrow, Sunday. There's a big football game tomorrow night, so I'll have to do it before then. But yeah, hope to get these listed on Sunday, or at the least Monday on Martin Luther King Day, because I have the day off that day. Okay, so that's what I've got going on in my shop. Last thing, let's check on our junk planners. So I'm not gonna lie, I had a slow start to January. Here was my November, here was December, and then here's some that I've done. Here's my January. So it's been slow. I've just now started to get going on it, and I'm just starting to feel my groove on it. So I have a feeling that in the next week or two, I'm gonna fill this whole thing up. But today is the 19th, and I have just this much time left. So it'll be interesting to see if I can get, you know, the whole thing as full as I've done these other pages. That'll be interesting. I know I will, because I've got tons of stuff that I want to put on here. One of the things was I had this wrapping paper, and it said shower because it was for a baby shower. But we have had a lot of snow the last couple of weeks. And so when I looked at the lettering, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like the word snow. So what I did was I just took a pen and I went over it and turned it into snow instead of shower. Because that's what's been going on in January. I don't know if I'm going to use February, and I don't know if I'm going to use March. This little sucker is filling up really fast, and I almost feel like, because this is what I've got right here, I almost feel like maybe I just do January and then just paint these guys and move on to another journal. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see. I do need to do some repair work because it's splitting right here. But yeah, I can't decide. We'll see how it goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're inspired. I hope you are healthy. I hope you're happy. And I hope you do something creative today. Bye.